The air in the meeting room was thick with tension. It was a balmy summer evening in Singapore, and a discreet conference was taking place behind closed doors. The world had been watching for weeks, the media buzzing with speculation over the historic meeting between Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of North Korea, and Donald Trump, the former president of the United States. Their relationship, filled with fiery rhetoric and unpredictable moves, had come to a head in this rare private meeting. Kim Jong-un, clad in his signature black suit and unmistakable hairstyle, sat calmly at the round table. He had the demeanor of a man who knew power, who wielded it with a practiced ease. His eyes, sharp and calculating, never strayed from his counterpart. On the other side of the table, Trump exuded confidence, though there was an unmistakable wariness in his eyes. He had dealt with many world leaders, but Kim Jong-un was different. There was something about him, something unpredictable, that had always kept Trump on edge. The room was minimalist, almost sterile. A few simple chairs, a large conference table, and an array of Secret Service agents standing silently in the corners, their eyes ever watchful. The only sound was the soft hum of the air conditioning. Kim Jong-un leaned forward, his hands clasped together in front of him, his voice steady. "Mr. Trump, thank you for meeting with me today. The world is watching, but what we discuss here will not be shared with anyone, not yet." Trump, never one to shy away from a direct challenge, leaned back in his chair. "I'm all for surprises, Kim. But let's be clear, this isn't just about a handshake for the cameras. If we're here, it's because we need to talk real solutions." Kim Jong-un nodded, though his expression remained unreadable. "Solutions?" he echoed. "You speak of solutions, but what is your definition of peace? A peace built on threats? On coercion?" He paused, allowing the weight of his words to sink in. "Or peace built on strength and respect?" Trump's lips tightened, but he kept his composure. "It's about the future, Kim. The past is gone. We both know that. But if we're going to change the future, we need to deal with the reality of the situation now." Kim Jong-un's eyes glinted, an unsettling smile forming on his lips. "You speak of the future, but do you understand what it takes to get there? Do you understand the sacrifices that must be made? Because peace, true peace, requires more than just words. It requires action. It requires trust." There was a long silence in the room. Trump's eyes narrowed as he tried to gauge the sincerity of Kim Jong-un's words. The young North Korean leader was always careful with what he said, never revealing too much, but always leaving an impression. The meeting had started as expected, business as usual, a back and forth on diplomacy, trade, and the North Korean nuclear program. But something felt off. Kim Jong-un had never been one to play by the rules of traditional diplomacy. His rise to power had been marked by secrecy, cunning, and a heavy reliance on family loyalty. He had played the international community like a game of chess, moving pieces and making strategic decisions with unmatched precision. Now it seemed he was playing a new game entirely, one that neither Trump nor the world's leaders could predict. "Tell me, Mr. Trump," Kim Jong-un said, breaking the silence. "Do you know what happened in 2009? You know, the year your country imposed sanctions on us? Do you understand why we retaliated the way we did?" Trump's brow furrowed, but he didn't answer immediately. He knew Kim was trying to provoke him, but there was an edge to his tone that hinted at something deeper, something personal. "I know a lot about sanctions, Kim," Trump replied, his voice steady. "But let's stick to the topic at hand. We're here to talk about the future, not rehash the past." But Kim Jong-un's expression grew more intense. "You see," he continued, "what the West doesn't understand is that North Korea's power isn't just in our missiles, our army, or our leadership. It's in something much deeper, something more ancient. And now, I am offering you a chance, something no one else has offered you before." Trump's pulse quickened as Kim slid a thick manila envelope across the table. He didn't touch it at first, his eyes locked with Kim's. There was a sense of foreboding, something unspoken hanging between them. Kim leaned back, folding his arms, and spoke in a quieter tone. "In that envelope, you'll find something that could change everything. A secret that goes back decades, one that neither of our nations have ever fully understood." Trump hesitated, his curiosity piqued. He wasn't the kind of man who waited long to find out what others were hiding. Slowly, he reached for the envelope and opened it. Inside were photographs, old, grainy images, some dating back to the 1970s, others as recent as the early 2000s. They were black and white, but one image stood out above the rest. It showed a man who looked eerily like Trump's father, Fred Trump, shaking hands with a group of high-ranking North Korean officials. The year was 1983, a time when the United States had not yet established diplomatic relations with North Korea. But there it was, Trump's father in the photograph, smiling with the North Korean delegation. Trump felt a cold shiver run down his spine. He recognized the significance of the moment, the unspoken history between the two countries that his father had never mentioned. Why hadn't anyone told him about this? The papers in his hands seemed to weigh 1,000 pounds. Kim Jong-un was watching him carefully, his eyes gleaming with the knowledge of something Trump had yet to understand. "Your father wasn't just a businessman, Mr. Trump," Kim said softly. "He was a participant in something much bigger, something that your government has erased from the records. A deal that was made long before you even thought about running for office." Trump's mind raced. "What is this?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "What's going on here, Kim?" Kim leaned forward, his voice low but filled with a chilling calm. "Your father made an agreement with us, one that involved mutual understanding and a commitment to secrecy. It wasn't just about trade. It wasn't about business. It was about shaping the future." Trump looked up, his face pale. "I don't know anything about this," he said, more to himself than to Kim. Kim Jong-un stood up, walking toward the window. "The truth, Mr. Trump, is that everything has always been connected. The world, the nations, the histories. Your father understood that. And now, it is your turn to understand the consequences of those decisions." Suddenly, the door to the room swung open, and a figure in a military uniform entered. He handed a small plain box to Kim, who accepted it without a word. The room had become increasingly tense. Kim opened the box slowly, revealing a small, intricately carved figurine, a representation of a dragon, its eyes gleaming with ruby-like stones. "You see," Kim continued, his voice steady and cold, "the agreements made in 1983 were not just political. They were personal. This figurine has been passed down through the generations as a symbol of the power held between our two countries. And now, it is yours to hold." Trump's hand reached for the figurine, the weight of the moment pressing on him. The unexpected twist had been revealed. His father's past had entwined his destiny with North Korea's. The future, it seemed, was not his to control. And that, my friends, is where our story ends. It's a tale of secrets, legacies, and the decisions that shape not only our future, but also our understanding of the past. Sometimes, the weight of history isn't something we choose, but something we inherit. The lesson here is that the truth is often hidden in the places we least expect, and the power to change the future often lies in the choices we make today. So, what's the takeaway? Never underestimate the significance of your actions and decisions, because sometimes they ripple through time in ways we cannot foresee. And just as Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump faced a monumental choice, we too are constantly faced with moments that could define our own legacies. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow and allows me to bring you more incredible stories like this. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of the latest content. Share this story with your friends, and let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. What do you think Trump should have done in this situation? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.